Hello, little witchlings and princelings, and welcome to your weekly Coven Summoning. My name is Ilsa.
And my name is Stacy.
And we're Caffeine and Conjuring,
a fantasy bookish podcast where we will discuss some of our favorite fantasy reads.
So we're taking a little trip into the past. We recently finished books 1 and 2 in Sarah J. Maas's Throne of Glass, so Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight, because we are reading in the publication order. So before listening to this episode, make sure you have those read, because we will be most likely referencing the first 2 books while we discuss Assassin's Blade.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to read Assassin's Blade first, read it third.
Or come back after Crown of Midnight.
So yeah, our last episode, we did our final review on Crown of Midnight and all the excitement of the big reveal.
Ooh. I was really nervous about going back after that.
Yeah, like, you kind of want to get into it, but at the same time, like, it's nice to, you know, once you realize who she is, then get a little trip down memory lane and kind of see what made her who she is now. Like, who is Calaena?
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So yeah, we're starting off. This episode's going to be book 1 in the Assassin's Blade, The Assassin and the Pirate Lord.
Who I just found out was hot.
Rolf. Yeah.
I love how we had the same thought process there. Hot pirates, let's go.
Yeah. Oh. Now I need to watch Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
Okay, so hopping right into chapter 1. So Calaena Sardothian, our young assassin, is called to an urgent meeting with Arobin Hamel, the king of the assassins, and his inner circle. And Arobin, who we also found out today, is also good looking. And not a little dwarf lord like we were kind of imagining him.
Yeah.
Thank you, fan art, for emphasizing the parts that we clearly skip over when reading character descriptions. So at this meeting, the atmosphere is tense, and Calaena quickly learns that Gregory, one of their own, has been captured. When she suggests eliminating Gregory to protect their secrets, a more shocking revelation follows. Ben, Arobin's second in command, and Calaena's mentor, has been killed. Calaena is devastated and enraged by the news, especially because Ben's body was not recovered. Her anger is further fueled by Sam, a fellow assassin who has always resented Calaena's favored position. This heated exchange makes it obvious that they're rivals, and there's some thick tension here. Despite the danger, she is determined to retrieve Ben's body and vows to do so.
She was so sad.
Yeah.
Because she was close with Ben. Side note, I don't know why. I feel like an idiot, but I wasn't saying Gregory in my head. For some reason, my brain read that and said Gregory.
I
so
get
the
that.
entire first chapter, yeah, he wasn't Gregory, it was Gregory for some bizarre reason.
It is spelled differently. I'm very well be Gregory.
Sick. I'm gonna blame it on me being sick. My brain's just not, like, up to speed. That's all.
The endless sickness that's ravaged our town over the past 2 months and won't go away.
Yeah.
It just keeps going around and around.
Yeah, mutating a little bit more.
Yeah.
Making its way back around. Yeah.
Oh.
Chapter 2, we get a little bit of a time jump. This is now 2 months and 3 days later, and Calaena and Sam are on a mission from Arobin. They arrive in Skulls Bay to meet with Captain Rolf, the Pirate Lord. Calaena is masked up to conceal her identity, and at this point, she's just hot. She's annoyed at how late Rolf is, and she is ready to demand retribution for the deaths of 3 assassins.
I bet she's hot.
Yeah. But she presents Arobyn's letter to Rolf, and a shocking truth is revealed. Arobyn is not interested in revenge. All he wants to do is establish a slave trade agreement with Rolf. What a slap in the face. Calaena is horrified, but she does try to keep her cool during the meeting, and she continues to play her role. And Rolf agrees to the deal, promising the first shipment of slaves in 2 days. Calaena and Sam are left grappling with the moral implications of this mission and the unsettling realization that Arobyn is involved in this despicable trade. The chapter ends with Calaena and Sam heading to their room, and she specifies that they only want 1 room. And Rolf is like, oh, 1 room. And she's like, 1 room, 2 beds. We almost got a 1 bedroom.
I know this has nothing to do with Sam, but jumping ahead a little bit because it's not relevant necessarily right now, but I don't want to lose the thought.
Hey.
I would have loved for Nehemia to know the Calaena from this story.
Mm-hmm.
Like the second half and seeing those efforts.
Yeah.
Like that would have been like obviously Calaena and Nehemia ended their friendship poorly. Not ended, but they had that argument before she died. And part of that argument was Calaena not fighting for the people. So it would have been nice for her to get to see this.
See, this is also, this just narrows it right down to why I could not reconcile Calaena at that point when she, was it Crown of Midnight? Yes. That she denies helping Ilwe because she's like, it's just not worth it. Was that? Yeah, like her people, like, yeah, Nehemia wants her to, whatever, fight for her people and that. And, that, reading this, just really, it's hard for me to understand where Calaena came from during that whole argument with Nehemia. Because she's here now. Now, I know that's jumping into this book a little bit more.
Well, yeah, like I said, it's not relevant, like, right at the moment, but I don't want to lose that thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's okay, we jump into the past for the book, we jump into the future for discussion, it's fine.
Yeah, we're just a hot mess. It's okay.
Still waiting on the ADHD diagnosis from the doctor. 'Twas the tism, my lord.
I love that. I use that like daily. I also found out, and I mentioned this to Rebecca a little while ago. Actually, it's just like the weekend, I think. Anyways, irrelevant. Apparently, people with autism are more likely to like the color green. And like 99% of my wardrobe is green.
Yeah, I definitely gravitate towards the army green color. Currently have my new phone case and everything coming in green. And
just further proof, as if we needed it.
I need a family doctor so I can get all this dealt with. But that's a whole can of worms.
Oh, Lord.
All right, so let's get back on track here. So we're in chapter 3. The inside of our minds could be a horror story for some people.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad we're on the same track, though. It doesn't matter if nobody else is on our track. At least we're on the same
absolutely.
track.
Get on our track or get lost.
I love that.
So, after ensuring the room is secure, Calaena and Sam discuss their mission, with Sam claiming he was also in the dark about the slave trade deal. Celaena grapples with Arobyn's motives. She is questioning his need to get involved with the enslavement. She reflects on the significant investment Arobyn made in her training, which she is still repaying to this day, and wonders if his wealth is a facade. Later at dinner with Rolf, Celaena's mass disguise prevents her from eating. Horrible.
Yeah. She really struggled with that part.
Leading to even more frustration and discomfort. She's hangry.
Yeah.
Rolf uses this opportunity to provoke Celaena, needling her about her concealed identity. Their conversation touches on the magical tattoos on Rolf's hands, which have been rendered useless since the King of Ardalan banished magic from Aurelia. Rolf reveals his ruthless ascent to power, admitting to killing all rival pirates to become the Lord of Pirates. He then advises Celaena to eliminate Sam, highlighting the ever-present competitor among assassins. Back at the inn, Celaena assures Sam that she won't kill him. Not tonight, anyways.
No. I love that. I love their back and forth, like, between her and Sam.
Yeah. A little on the back and forth, I did have a quote, and it's not even like, it's nothing important. But it was from the first chapter, and it was just, perhaps if you hadn't been reading all night, you wouldn't be so exhausted. And I just put a little note, me.
Yep.
It was the one highlight that I had from this entire little book. And I was like, and I missed it.
It looks like I only have one highlight. And I guess it was while I fell asleep. Because all it is, literally what's highlighted is the dawn. It was such a Sam look. The twinkle of mischief, the hint of exasperation, the kindness that would. That's it. The only highlight. So I obviously fell asleep at that point.
Oh, that ADHD kicking in hard tonight.
Yes. It doesn't help that I'm sick, because that just, like, leaves me so scatterbrained.
I feel that. That's been me the past month.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I start to feel better, I'm like, oh, it's finally gone. Oh, no, it's back. And it's back with a vengeance. You're going to feel like shit for 2 more weeks. Oh, and your cough, it's never going away. Ever.
No. Nope. I am surprised that I haven't got hit more this past, like, winter. Like, I think I've only been sick, like, one other time besides right now. I mean, with kids and school. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's usually it's constant. Yeah. So now I feel like I'm getting it bad now because I've had such an easy winter. But anywho, chapter 5. The sight that greets Celaena and Sam when they inspect one of Rolf's ships is nothing short of horrifying. The enslaved people are crammed into absolutely disgusting conditions. They're subjected to brutal treatment and just living in fear. Celaena, masked, notices their apprehension, understanding that her appearance is adding to their terror. Like, they are afraid of what Celaena looks like. And honestly, I would too.
Yeah.
Yes. And she sees the captain violently beating one of the slaves, and she is just, her stomach is turned. She's not liking what she sees, obviously. As they gather information about the operation, they learn that some of the enslaved are destined for the brutal salt mines of Endovier, while others, including children, are sold into domestic servitude or worse, into the brothels. Rolf does say that the mothers and children, they try to keep them together, but ultimately, if they get split up through, like, somebody buying, like, offering more than they can say,
Yeah, I think they
no
mentioned,
to.
like, at the auctions, they tend to get split up.
Yeah, but he tries to, I think, smooth it over by saying, like, we try to keep them together. Like, okay, here's a cookie. So when they find, like, that's obviously, it enrages Sam because his mother was a trafficked sex worker and she was murdered by a jealous partner.
Yeah.
That's sad. That made me very, very sad. Slane and Sam leave the ship. They're absolutely overwhelmed by everything. Their emotions are just reaching a boiling point. And with all, like, the pent up emotions, they end up in a physical fight on the beach. Just swinging fists. Afterwards, Calaena confesses her moral obligation to free the enslaved people and keep them from Erebin. Sam suggests that they run away. I was just like, yes, please pick that. You guys just run away. It's fine. But Calaena says that she can handle Erebin. No worries. She can handle him.
But if they did run away, we wouldn't have the Throne of Glass series.
True.
She would be Calaena forever, most likely.
True. Okay, fine. I am just not looking forward to where I know this is going with Sam. I don't know. Is that a spoiler? No. Well, it depends. If people
we said we're going to talk about Throne of
You're
Glass
right.
and Crown of Midnight, and that's mentioned many, many times.
Many times.
So,
yes.
Just rip the Band-Aid off. He's going to die.
Sam dies.
We know that because of the order we read it. We chose one big reveal over a unsuspected loss.
Mm-hmm.
So, it is what it is.
Yeah. It's still gonna hurt.
If it just got spoiled for you, you didn't listen to our warnings at the beginning of the episode, and that's on you, not us.
Exactly. So at the end of chapter 5, Calaena is standing on the beach and she feels a breeze of her homeland, Terrasen. And then she also sees the Lord of the North, the Star of Terrasen, and she's sort of just reflecting on the role choice has played in her life and where things are going. She's having a moment.
So in chapter 6, Calaena is finding sleep impossible again. She and Sam decide to take action, discreetly gathering information around Skulls Bay. They learn about the availability of rowboats at high tide, potentially useful for their plan. They also observe the security presence on Rolf's ships and the strategic distraction provided by his frequent parties for the pirate crews. What's a pirate story without a lot of alcohol?
Mm-hmm. Touché.
I would personally love to be at one of those parties, but
That would be fun.
Yeah. Yes, it would. Cleverly maintaining their cover, they use the guise of assessing the enslaved people's value for Erebin to identify those who speak the common tongue. A man named Dia?
Dia? I was saying Dia, but maybe it's Dia?
I was saying Dia first, and I'm like, it's a man, though.
Yeah.
Is it going to be Dia or Dia?
Yeah.
Dia sounds slightly more manly.
Let's go with Dia.
But, yeah, okay, we'll say Dia.
Yeah.
So, a man named Dia reveals his ability to communicate. Calaena hopes that they have not yet been broken by all the cruelty they've endured so far. And, like, they've discussed in this book the way that the slaves are kept. And the fact that 7 of them died on the journey there because of the poor conditions.
Yeah.
And the response was just keep them fed and give them water. But, like, they set the
they're a
scene
plant.
that, like, they're all chained up to the floor, no latrine, no food, no water, no light.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what's happening. They've had their life probably, like, threatened multiple times. They're terrified. And, like, the kids, too, like...
She even asks, like, how many of them will survive the trip to Rifthold. And, yeah, it was gross.
Yeah. So, that night, Calaena and Sam quietly make their way to the ships where the enslaved people are held captive. Positioned on separate ships, they signal to each other, and so the rescue attempt begins.
Ooh. Chapter 7 starts with Calaena swiftly incapacitating the guards and securing the captain. She then makes her way to the area where the enslaved people are held captive, her eyes searching for Daya. Upon finding him, she reveals her plan. She and Sam will create a diversion to draw attention away from Rolf's fleet, giving the enslaved people a chance to escape. The key to their escape lies in dropping the harbor chain that protects Gull's Bay, allowing them to sail to freedom. She even says at the end, doesn't matter what happens, like, we will have that chain dropped. And she stressed that a few times, and I clued in on that. I was like, okay, what's going to happen? Because she said that like 3 times in this chapter, that the chain is going to be dropped. Calaena entrusts Daya with the responsibility of leading the others, urging them to seize this opportunity and escape the Dead Islands. Sam takes Daya to the other ship to relay the plan to the remaining captives, ensuring everyone is prepared for the escape attempt. With the plan set in motion, Calaena and Sam quietly return to Skull's Bay, leaving the fate of the enslaved people in their own hands.
That's a lot of faith you're putting in.
People who are malnourished.
Traumatized people.
Trauma, yep.
So, chapter 8, which was my favorite chapter of the book.
Yeah, I can see that.
Calaena and Sam head to the tavern, and they put their plan into action using good old-fashioned drinking contests to distract Rolf. Sam, the master of disguise, pretends to get completely wasted, while Calaena keeps her mask on, avoiding the ale altogether. They play a few rounds of cards, keeping up the charade until Calaena strategically instigates a massive brawl among the tavern patrons.
I like how they also mentioned that Sam has like a little hole drilled in the bottom of his, or like poked in the bottom of his mug.
Yeah.
So that like it's just constantly
dripping everywhere.
Yeah.
With chaos erupting all around them, Calaena and Sam seize the opportunity to slip away unnoticed. Their mission? Disable the harbor chain and the catapults that guard Skull's Bay. But just as they sneak away from the fight, Rolf stops them. Looks like their plan has hit a bit of a snag.
Ooh. So chapter 9, Rolf confronts Sam and Calaena, quickly realizing Calena's true intentions. Rolf threatening Calaena, but thinking fast, Calaena removes her mask to distract Rolf and give Sam a chance to escape.
This part cracked me up.
Yes.
So much. Because he is so distraught that she's just a little girl, essentially.
Yeah.
She's a 16-year-old girl, and he loses his shit.
Yep. He realizes that he's been outmaneuvered, and he questions her motives, failing to grasp the significance of freeing 200 enslaved people. So they fight, but it ends in Calaena knocking him unconscious. And at this point, I was just like, just kill him. Yeah. Like, you're an assassin. Just kill him. But no, she rushes off to check on Sam, and she sees that he is battling pirates. He's trying to get to the catapult to break the harbor chain. The enslaved people are rowing with all their might, they're approaching the still intact chain. This is like stressful reading this part because it's just like, oh my god, are they just gonna hit the chain? Like what?
I've read it before, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, I can't remember how it goes. Oh my god, did they get the chain up? Like, get the fucking chain up. Hurry up. Stop fucking around.
Exactly. Oh man, it was just like my heart was pounding. And Sam gets stabbed. Like that threw me. But he does manage to activate the catapult and it breaks the chain just as the ship reaches the opening. The tower crumbles and then the ships are escaping. Calaena rushes to look for Sam. She's worried that he's injured or he may be killed, but she's stopped by Rolf with a dagger to her neck. I said, just fucking kill him. Just be an assassin and assassinate.
But you know what? The scene we get in chapter 10 was so worth it. Keeping him alive. So,
yes.
Him and Calaena are fighting again, with Calaena ultimately gaining the upper hand. She seizes the opportunity to force him to sign a letter to Erebin, dissolving their slave trade agreement. To further solidify her victory, she compels him to sign a document pledging to renounce the slave trade forever and to establish Skulls Bay as a sanctuary for escaped enslaved people.
I love that.
Rolf initially resists, but Calaena's threats leave him with no choice but to comply. And, like, her sass in this scene, where she is like, I'm only 16 years old, and I took you out twice. Yeah. Imagine what I'll do in a couple years. Like, don't fuck with me.
Yes. She's so sassy. I love it.
Yeah. So, despite his continued bewilderment at Calaena's actions, she spares his life, warning him that any breach of their agreement will result in his death. With a final blow, she renders him unconscious once more. Her thoughts immediately return to Sam, and she's frantically searching for him amidst the rubble of the watchtower. Just when all hope seems lost, Sam emerges, alive and battered. They share an embrace before setting off for Rifthold.
It was bittersweet, I think. But, like, when she does hug him after she finds that he's alive, says she wanted to curl into his warmth, like, for one moment. She didn't have to worry about anything or anybody. Ugh.
And Sam just had the full-on friend zone reaction where, like, the love of his life just gave him a hug.
Yes.
He just, like, stiffened right up and was just like, ugh. Oh my god, it's happening. It's happening!
He's a year older than her, right? Or is he 2?
So. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either. Don't remember if it was 1 or 2 years older. Either way, he's a little bit older.
And that was the end of The Assassin and the Pirate Lord.
I think if I were to rate this as its own novella, I think I would probably have it as a 4. It wasn't quite a 5. And I don't know if that's just because of it being a novella. It was very condensed.
I think for me it was a 3 because the first 4 chapters were so slow going, reading wise. And I found that the first time. Like I said, the reason I liked the publication order is because I 100% probably would have DNF'd the series if I was basing it just off Assassin's Blade.
Yeah.
Like, if I read this book and I'm, like, looking at the size of the rest of the series, I'm like, there's no way I would go into that.
No. No, if I started with this, definitely not. I would not have been interested enough to carry on.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think the only reason why I did enjoy the story as I did was because I already knew Calaena, who she is, what she does. Because you really don't get much like character in this
Yeah.
novella.
Curious now when I rated Assassin's Blade as a whole when I first read it. Oh, I rated it a 4. That's better than what I thought I rated it. Because I thought it was like a 2 or a 3.
Oh, wow.
But now the later ones are better.
Mm-hmm.
But that might change now after reading it a second time.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I can't see Assassin's Blade, like, so far, like, if I had to base it off of this first story, but like you just said, the rest are better, so maybe I can't base it off of this. But, I can't see it being a 5-star read for me.
no, especially comparing it to Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight that I
Yeah.
rated 4 stars. Like, this isn't up there with them for me.
Yeah.
So, like, going to later books, like Air of Fire, like, they're 5-star. Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight were 2, or were 4.
I say then... 2?
Yeah, these are 2 or 3, I think. I haven't fully decided. I'm gonna wait till it's all done. I'm not gonna put my ratings in as per novella. I'll do it as a whole. But I think it's definitely gonna drop from a 4.
Yeah.
But I also rated Crown of Midnight a 5 the first time I read it. Because that initial shock of everything happening, and I was just...
Yeah, high on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Now that I've dissected more and thought about it more, my ratings are definitely going to change.
I think when we're done Throne of Glass series, I'm going to have to go back and, like, alter my ratings on it better. Because, like...
Yeah.
Like, I'm just 5-starring everything because I'm just...
It's hard not to.
Yeah, it is.
I've been definitely stingier with my 5 stars over the past year.
Yeah.
Like, I was going back to last year and, like, certain books I rated 5-star, and I'm like...
Now that I've had time to process.
Yeah, one that stood out that I want to change is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace.
Yeah. I think I rated that one 5.
Yeah, and it's because that's what I just needed something mindless and smutty, and that filled that gap. But, like, thinking back, I'm like, especially reading the next 2, Wildfire and Daydream, I just finished Daydream the other day, and they are both so much better than Icebreaker. But it was still only, like, a 4-star, so I'm like, I really need to drop Icebreaker.
Yeah. I've been thinking about that, too, because, yeah, same thing. A lot of books, like, after I'm done reading, I'm just like, man, I devoured that. That was so good. 5 stars. And then, like, months later being like, I literally could not tell you what that book was about. And then, like, just trying to justify why I rated it 5 stars, I don't have a clue. I must have just been really happy when I finished it.
It's like every book club meeting when we rate a book higher and then, like, we're talking about it and all the shit's getting brought up. I'm like, maybe I'm going to take off a star or 2.
Yeah. It almost happens to every book club book for me.
Yeah. I'm really curious how Onyx Storm's going to go because from what I'm seeing, like, the girls saying about, like, reading it, there's going to be a lot of different opinions.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I haven't told anyone what I've thought about it so far. I haven't put a rating on Goodreads. I haven't done anything.
Oh, shit. So it could go either way. Oh. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous.
Yeah, I've learned from book club now that I'm holding off on putting my ratings in until the day of the meeting.
Oh,
or at least till everyone's done reading it. Because we've been in the situation where I've read it, like, immediately when it was picked. I hated it. And then you're like, I don't really want to get into it now. I've, like, discouraged you from reading it because of my rating, and I don't want that.
That's fair, but I also don't want to waste my time reading a book that, if you didn't like it, 9 chances out of 10, I'm not going to like it.
Oh boy.
Oh. But, oh well. That's it. What else can we say about the first novella of The Assassin's Blade?
I'm very excited for Rolf to come back in later.
That's what I was wondering. I wasn't sure if he would, because, you know, I had no idea. But knowing that she kept him alive, obviously it's giving that he's going to be back. But then the fact that there's fan art of him is what made me kind of think more.
Yeah, I think
maybe a
it's
little-
safe to assume that any character left alive in the Assassin's Blade is going to come up in later books.
Mhm.
Because I think I think the point of it was to introduce some of these characters and give a little more story to when they're mentioned later on in the series.
Makes sense. Exciting.
That was part of the reason, too, once I read it, I'm like, yeah, I really wouldn't have wanted to read this first because there's so
many people.
Characters.
Yeah.
And, so I can talk about this now, I guess, but because a lot of the debate between reading a first and third is because you want to fall in love with Sam. You want to have that love story without knowing that he dies. I feel like if I read that first with that love story, I wouldn't have been able to connect to her romance with Kale and Dorian as well, because I would be grieving Sam.
Yeah.
I can still appreciate their love story now, knowing that he dies, but
You don't get that shock.
yeah, it's not even the shock. It's I'm not so invested in Sam.
Yeah.
Because now I'm invested in the main characters of the rest of the series.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so heartbroken about Sam that I don't give a fuck about Kale and Dorian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or how dare you stand where he stood? Yeah. I don't do well with books that kill off the main love interest. So I think if I went into this without knowing that Sam dies and got to that where he died, I don't know how I would have reacted to it. I don't know if I'd go on. Ugh.
So what were your thoughts on baby Calaena?
She's not too bad in this book. I did find her worse at the beginning where she was tapping her foot and she was just being so, I don't know,
dramatic.
Yeah, and bratty almost.
Yeah.
Ugh. As the story went on, it was a little easier to appreciate.
You're I deal
her
with
quips.
this in my house. I don't need to read about this.
Exactly, right? But I didn't notice it so bad after that. After they got to Skulls Bay. Her interactions with Sam, I didn't so much mind that because it was very reminiscent of her reactions with Kale. I found that there were some kind of overlapping. Her attitude towards Sam was a lot like her attitude towards Kale.
Yeah.
Obviously,
fair.
they had very different relationships with Calaena, but I don't know. It just reminded me of it. So I didn't so much get the bratty. She was just more feisty, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll see how book 2 or novella number 2, how I feel then. Right now, it's not so bad. It started out bad, got okay. So we'll see. And I like Sam, but I knew I was gonna like Sam.
Yeah.
From what I read of him in Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight.
I never got very attached to him. There was something about him that I just didn't I think it was two, like, friends to lovers. Like, even though they have a bit of, like, a competition kind of going since childhood about, like, who's on the top of Arabin's list kind of thing. I would have rathered if they were bigger rivals, if that makes sense. Like, if they were a little meaner to each other, and then the love story kind of comes into play. But I found, like, the build up to the relationship a little bland.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that.
Like, Sam is the white Italian bread at Subway.
Oh, poor Sam.
He gets chopped up like that bread, too.
Oh, no. I think, like, I like his character, and I do like her memories of him that we got throughout the other two books. And I did really find myself, like really liking what I imagined their relationship was. So I'm interested to see, like, how it goes now in Assassin's Blade, reading this now. If it's going to live up to what I had thought their relationship was from reading it in past tense.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. We'll see. Do we have Sam for all of these novellas? Do I get to know that?
We'll leave that as a surprise.
God damn it.
Is it because I want to keep it surprise, or because I don't fully remember?
Don't know.
Who knows?
It could go either way. Okay, fair.
I do believe that his death happens at the end. I think.
That's the big end.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh boy.
It's been a few years.
Yeah, fair. Oh,
so
well,
next week we talk about the assassin and the healer.
And the healer?
Yeah.
I haven't looked at, like, anything. Like, all the names of novellas, no clue what they are. So I'm, like, fresh eyes going into everything.
When I read the summary for Assassin's Blade last time as, like, a little preview, and I was reading the names of each novella, I was reading them and I'm like, the underworld? What the fuck is the underworld in this series? Like, could not, like, piece together what that one was about. I had to Google it, and I was like, oh.
Interesting. Yeah, I had blocked that out. Like, I did not retain those names at all. Like, I'm just like, nope, I'll take it in as I read it. And the healer. Okay, so that's book number 2.
So, yeah. Unless you have anything else to say about this one.
Nope, not, no more to say about this one.
So we'll see you guys next week.
And with that, our Coven summoning comes to a close. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
And follow Caffeine and Conjuring on Instagram and TikTok to stay up to date on our journey through Throne of Glass. With every chapter, hear the call. Adventure